Hi, welcome to Channel Squared, where we connect with you, the divine, and channel here with you live. I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate.
And I'm Jody Lynn Craven, founder of Abundance Consciousness. And today we're talking about the reality, ... or what is really reality. Before we hopped onto this episode, Heather said something that she would normally say to me as, friends, best friends. And I said, we should really talk about this because I've been feeling into this and I have struggled, to be honest. So Heather, do you want to reveal what you said?
Sure. Okay. So full disclosure, everybody get ready. I haven't brushed my hair in 4 days. So, we just got back from a trip and this here lovely thing is actually a giant tangly knot that I put up like this. And then I put a little bobby pin right here to make it look like I intentionally sectioned it that way. And the reality is that, it's just life is crazy right now. I'm not wearing a stitch of makeup. I stuck on an eyelash segment over here because it had fallen off in my sleep. And I'm like, I got to at least fill the hole, right? But this side, there's one completely missing. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the reality, right? No makeup, not brushed my hair in 4 days, glued on an old eyelash segment. This is the reality.
But I think where I was going with this when I said we should talk about this is not that, you haven't brushed your hair in 3 days or you have an eyelash missing. That's not the point. The point is the question of, the statement, I guess, if we look at other people, like you show up and I'm like, wow, Heather looks so beautiful. I feel so tired. I've been going for longer than I can remember. Lately, it's been a very busy season in my life. And I think we often, or I do anyway, I look at other people and I've seen this reflected in my clients and the people around me, where we look at other people and we think they have it all together and we think that they're just perfect. And that's not the reality. Like, it's not the absolute reality. What is reality? So we wanted to open up about some of the struggles that we have. And, if you're watching this today, I want you to comment and tell us if you've struggled showing up in everything that is you, or, if you actually hide things from the world. And we're going to talk about the reasons why we kind of do those things.
Well, I think that there's so much pressure to show up a certain way because we've got social media and, everybody puts the highlight reel out there on social media. And so it's hard to
filter.
Yeah, and the filter, exactly. And so the thing is it's like it's really hard to not judge yourself based on everything that you see around you, right? You kind of look at it and you're just like, oh gosh, and it goes to that, you looking, at me going, oh wow, Heather looks so refreshed and whatever. There's a Zoom filter, by the way, y'all. Like my skin looks amazing in the Zoom filter. But the reality is I have sunspots. I grew up in Arizona, lived in Southern California for many years of my life, and I love the sun. And so I have spots to show for it. And the thing is like, how you show up to people doesn't have to be through a filter. And I think that that's really what we wanted to talk about today is like, you can have certain imagery or certain presentation of yourself, but I feel like people are really wanting the authenticity. Like, absolutely. I know when I see someone who gives it to me real in all their funky glory, I am way more attracted to them and way more interested in the fact that they're like me, Like, I'm an ordinary, regular girl. If you look at my branding, you would never know that, right? Like my branding for my business is beautiful. And it is very, professional. And it's just, it's really lovely branding. But I don't wear a blazer to work every day. This is a yoga shirt that I'm wearing right now. And I wear it for every episode. And you know why I wear it? I wear it because it keeps me cool. Because when I'm in the channel, I am heated, right? I am hot. Like there is a stream of sweat running down my spine. So the only way for me to keep from like passing out from overheating is to wear a freaking yoga top.
Yeah.
Right. And like, that's the thing. It's like, you have like functional reality and you have like the glam reality that is maybe your business branding or whatever. The question is how close are they and how far away are they? And, this was something that you and I were talking about the branding and being a far distance from where you actually are.
Yeah. And
you have something to say about that, Jody.
Wow. I was the one that brought it up, that I feel as though the way that I was branded, though the pictures that were taken, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. They represent certain pieces of abundance consciousness, this luxurious vibe, this, expansiveness, this power. And that is a part of me for sure, but that's not what I look like most often, to be honest. And that's been really hard for me. Or it's been really hard for me to, I don't even know what the word is, like amalgamate the reality of my everyday life and those pictures, because that too is a part of my brand, but that's, one face of that brand, one face of me, but there's so much more. I'm a farm girl. And this is where I struggle the most, to be 100% transparent, is that on an average day, I live on a farm, I go out into said farm and I farm. And I am a dirty kid. I don't know if I've ever said this on our show before, but I think I've said it publicly before. I am a dirty kid. I have always been the dirtiest kid. I don't really understand why, but dirt is like attracted to me. So when I go out, I play hard and I work hard and I get covered head to toe in dirt and mud and I don't know, all of the things, bugs, whatever it is, sunburn, all of these things. And I enjoy it. As I'm talking this out, it's so interesting. My life is me talking out the new reality, a reality that I want to bring forward, what is holding me back, what's really held me back from showing that side of me, which the importance and how it relates to abundance, I think, which is dropping in this moment, is the childlike presence that everybody can tap into, that is a part of abundance, seeing the overflow in nature, seeing the abundance of nature, seeing the power of nature. That has helped me lock in or anchor in abundance and really open up my mind to different ways abundance flows into your life and how powerful nature is. And we are nature. And what has stopped me from showing that side, I guess, is fear of judgment. As I went on this journey of ascension, of learning, of spirituality, I had people who didn't like it, who didn't understand me or maybe didn't like me. The interesting thing is I've never had these conversations with these people, so I have no idea, but I just felt that I got burned hard, that I lost friends, that I was hurt and had to grieve the different parts of my life, different relationships. And that fear comes back up when I go to show people that other side of me or more sides of who I am, the whole picture, take, some of those masks down. I get nervous and I am fearful of being burned again. What if people don't like that? What if people don't resonate? And that has been a sticking point too, from different bullshit that I've been told by teachers. You got to show up like this. you don't show up like this, then you're not representing your brand. Or, you know, like I've had people tell me, like coaches tell me, you can't wear those sunglasses because they don't represent your brand. I'm like, I don't understand how that doesn't represent my brand. But really what it instilled in me that I've been working on, I guess, repatterning, is that this belief system of people only want to see this, the bougie side of abundance. And what I'm really leaning into and understanding for myself is that is representation of the artificial or the surface level of abundance. And abundance is so much deeper of an expression than just money, than just the clothes that you wear. You know, I always go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the book that I wrote on ascension, the 9 phases of ascension through money. And to ascend to those greater levels, like Maslow said, you know, self-esteem, self-actualization, and for the 9 phases that I wrote about, to ascend to the higher levels on the scale that I had channeled, it's dropping in and seeing how surface that is, and how there's so much more to the conversation. And that really in life, we're chasing beauty. We're chasing the experience of life. And yet, because of the way our society is structured, we miss a lot of it. That was a lot. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that you know, the thing is like, look, there's 2 aspects, 2 sides to every story that is told, right? There may be more than 2 sides, but we're just, for the simplicity's sake, there's 2 sides to every story that's told. And so, you know, when you talk about like these masks that we wear for various instances in our life, you know, I think becoming aware of what those are is a really important step in becoming your authentic self, in like showing your authentic self. Now, I'm someone who, you know, the stars were written that I am who I appear to be, right? Like I am just who I am. What you see is what you get. And the thing is like, I can dress that up and make it look really fancy, you know, and I can undress that and make it look yikes, right? But the fact is that even though I'm what you see is what you get, I still have a very protective part to me where, you know, I keep people at a distance. I don't, you know, let them in because I'm sensitive, like really sensitive, you know, like your energy speaks volumes to me as you're walking up the path, right? Like I'm so sensitive to how that energetic vibration comes across that for me, you know, that term, you know, it's too people-y outside is like a real thing, you know, like my poor husband has to go out and get things all the time for me because I'm like, I just can't people right now. Like, I just can't go out there with all of that energy.
What is that experience like for you, Heather? Like maybe when you were single or when you had to go out and do some of those things?
Well, there was a time in my life when I was very focused and committed to like my business, my beauty business. So those of you that have been following me for a while know that, you know, I had a very successful skin and permanent makeup business, and I'd done it for 20 plus years. And the thing is when I was in that mode, I wasn't really in this mode, right? So like I just kind of like shut my channel down, you know, was the machine that produced the work. And so when I was working, I was just working. And when I was driving to and fro, it was like, I'm headed to work, I'm headed home. But that was literally what I did. You know, I might go to a yoga class. I would go to my slackline training. You know, I would do stuff like that. But I mean, I picked up a hobby that I do alone, right? I didn't pick up a hobby. When I learned to slackline, I didn't pick that up because I wanted to be around people. I hired a trainer for one-on-one lessons because that was all the peopling I could do. My clients were one-on-one. Everything has always been one-on-one. So like if somebody would call me up and be like, hey, let's go to a club, or let's go to dinner, or let's go happy hour, I was like, oh God, I can't, I just can't. I can't. And the reason why is because it comes in like this tidal wave of like energy. And it's just like so heavy, it's like heavy. If it's like a concert, it's like super excitable to where like I feel like my heart is gonna like jump out of my body, and it's like I'm having a panic attack, right? And I'm like, give me the alcohol, because that's the only way I can like numb it out. So I suddenly have a tickle. So, like when you say like, what is that like for you? It's like super powerful, overwhelming, and just kind of like yucky in general.
Yeah. Good for you for being able to recognize that. That's something that I've learned about myself is through this ascension journey, specifically over the last 6 years, is that I wasn't honoring what I was feeling. I actually didn't even know. I didn't know what I was feeling at all for a lot of my life. I suppressed a lot. And I noticed even now I'm deepening that practice within myself. Just recently, like it's been really busy. I've been more go than in flow for like the last couple of months. We had our launch for our event. It's planting season on the farm, and just to throw things in there, my family decided earlier, at the end of last year, that we're going to do a family reunion at my parents' place. So, and we're doing our event at my parents' place, our family farm. And so the amount of work that has gone into making all of these things come to life actually turned me into a monster halfway through. Like literally I slid, I regressed. I don't know what you want to call it. I slid back into this person that I used to be. I used to be very, very good at being a beast. Like I would go into this beast mode where I could be very efficient. I could get things done very quickly. I would have energy to do a lot of things, and I would push. Like I have this beautiful energy that is very powerful, and I would yield it to my will and get what I want, essentially, and not in the healthiest way or the best feeling way for the people around me. To be very honest, like, Heather felt it, my husband felt it, even my dad felt it, to the point where my dad is like, I'm not asking you for anything. And I was like, oh God, like had a meltdown through it all. And I've really been reflecting on that, because I did this human design session with a dear friend of mine just recently, and one of the things that stuck out to me during the session is I have these endless amounts of energy, and I can go, like I get the spark and then I can go and I can give other people that energy. I'm a generator in human design.
Generator.
Yes, I'm just go. And I thought, okay, well, this is, it was kind of like a mind bending situation. Like my human design is to go like a rabbit. I go. But why did I turn into this monster where I did not like myself in those moments. And I didn't like myself when I used to be a beast back then either. It was harder for me to recognize because it was celebrated. My ability to work that hard and to go and to like all of those things was really celebrated in the brokerage business that I work in, like work hard, team, no days off, like doing all of that was celebrated, and it was really killing me. So I've gone through these ebbs and flows of like trying to come back, this pendulum swing where I didn't do anything and then coming back to doing lots of things. And like, it's just this pendulum swing that I've been journeying through, I guess. But one of the things that really stood out over the last week, really, of learning more about myself, I've started to turn back in and ask, what's the message? What what is it that I'm not seeing? And really it's not, I made like that part of me like the devil, essentially, not literally, but figuratively. Like, that is bad, Jody, don't do that, you're going to kill yourself if you operate like that. I vilified it. That's the word I'm looking for. I vilified the way that I would operate. And there was things to be vilified, perhaps, sure, we're harder on ourselves than anybody else in this entire world. Like, we get that beat and stick out and should all over ourselves, as I like to tell my coaching clients. And that's what I was doing to myself. Like, I should have done this and I should have done that and I should have done this. And, all of these things came up, and I really took a breath over this last week and was like, okay, what was the message that I needed to see? And it came back to, what did I need? And was I asking for it? And, I had a big blow up with my husband and my dad, all of this stuff throughout that time. And I was reflecting on that experience. And it wasn't the doing of the things. It was that I wasn't asking for what I needed. And I was actually beating myself up, because one of the things that I need is information. My human design is all about asking questions and all about getting to the information, understanding. It's something that's just built in me. I need the information. So I run my life like that in terms of schedule. And I was really beating myself up about having to know the details, knowing where I'm going, knowing what I'm doing, having the ability to even just sit with it and be like, okay, so next I'm going to be doing this and then this and then this. I like to have a plan in place, and I didn't have that. And I noticed that it's hard for me, even to this day, different degrees at different times with different people, to ask for what I want or what I need. I noticed this yesterday, actually, when I was talking to you on the phone, Heather. We were talking about changing something and it would require some work and and like, oh, we should do this for this time. And I was like, in my gut, because that's, where my power comes from is my gut, because I'm a sacral responder, I think it's called. I always get those two in the middle mixed up, solar plexus and sacral, but the gut. So I felt into it and I was like, no, I've got too much on my plate right now to be able to execute well without going into that really destructive pattern of killing myself to get it done. And I said that, and I was almost like I was observing myself. I don't know if this is too much information, but almost like I was observing myself outside of myself after I said it, like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all of this work. And it wasn't like you were like, you must, and you have to get it done, or that you were disappointed in any way. I think your answer was like, oh, okay, yeah, like let's wait and give ourselves the time that we need. But I remember feeling like in that conversation, as I was observing myself outside of myself, that I could feel like this guilt, like leading up. Well, if you want, I could somehow figure out how to make it work if that's what you wanted. And I'm such a people pleaser. It's conditioning. I don't know what it is. Like, if you're listening to this conversation and you're a people pleaser too, like, give me some love, for reworking that pattern. Tell me you are one too. I've spent so much time in my life shaming myself for the things that I didn't do absolutely perfect. And to be honest, that's one of those things. I want to give people what they need and show up for people and give it, just make people happy. And that's really hard for me to say, I need this to be able to execute. And I have so many notes on my computer. This is how I operate: sticky notes, reminders of things, before you say yes, take a breath, feel into it. Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency for me. I need to remind myself of these things, because I get into that mode of like, oh man, I'm beating myself up because I'm not meeting someone else's expectation, which, by the way, I made up the expectation in my own mind also.
Well, and I think that is like, that's such a common problem. I think that conditioning is to people please. And I would say that generally, most people are people pleasers. I think that that's a fair thing to say, and I think it's generational upbringing, right? Say yes, help people out, do all the things, be a good neighbor, be a good kid, be a good parent, be a good insert item here, right?
Yeah.
And, with you being, in that generator population, and just for those of you who aren't familiar with human design, 80% of the population are generators. So the world was built by generators for generators. So, that is why it goes and it just rolls and things just happen. And like everything just, it is the engine of humanity. There are other, types. I, for one, am a projector. So like, what does that mean for me? And like, I'm 15% of the population is projectors. Okay. So we're the second largest group. The smallest group are reflectors. So, for a projector, you talk about like the generator, mode being like, creating and like doing, and, you have this like energy force that drives you forward, and projectors just don't have that splenic center, or not splenic center, the sacral center that you pull from to have that energy to like generate everything, make the world go round. I don't have it all. It's completely open. So I don't generate anything unless I'm in the presence of a generator, which, in understanding my human design, I was able to look at it and go, oh my gosh, that actually makes so much sense now. Like why I was able to produce so much work at work, because 80% of everybody I saw was generators.
Yeah.
Right. But when I got home, I was like a lump. I'd get home, I'd eat dinner, I'd, pet my dog. He maybe was a generator. I don't know, and then I would like literally like crash out and just like, be a lazy bones, until I had to get up and do it all again. And it was like pulling teeth to get up and get moving, The thing about like the generator population is that because you guys are the ones that make the world go round, there's also an energetic shift that's happening, as we move into this new vibration and this new energy with our planet. And the generators are going to start feeling a little bit, they could start feeling a little displaced, because we're moving into that paradigm where projectors are going to really be needed, right? We're the ones that have the answers.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about being a projector is, while you intuitively know, because you have, certain centers that are defined that bring you information. For me, I'm a splenic projector, which means that my intuition is keen. So I lean on my intuition to make every single decision that I make. And if I don't, I'm out of alignment, and it usually is painful. So if I have the answers to something and someone's struggling with something, if they don't ask me, I can't give them the answer, because if I do, I'm a bossy, bitchy asshole.
Yeah, they didn't ask the questions, so they didn't ask for the answer either.
Exactly. So, so for me, something that I experience as being a projector is a lot of people feel like I don't like them. They get this vibe that like, oh, maybe she doesn't like me. It's not that I don't like you. I love you. I love everybody, right? I'm just a lovey kind of girl. Yeah. But I don't want to interject the end result without you asking, because then I'm an asshole. Like, oh, she's just so bossy. She's just a know-it-all. My own mom called me a know-it-all once, which is hilarious because she's a projector too. So
also a know-it-all.
Also a know-it-all. And the thing is like, there's little nuances in that human design stuff. So like, I love human design. I think it's really, really fascinating, and it really answered a lot of questions that I didn't know that I even had. Yeah. But it made so much, it like brought so much clarity to like why I am the way that I am, because I don't have the energy unless I get it from someone else. So am I an energy vampire? I totally am, and I mean
Well,
it in the
maybe
most
not.
loving possible way.
Yeah, and maybe
I mean
not
that from
an
a place of
energy,
love.
maybe not an energy vampire, but it's almost like the way that I see it in my mind's eye is a light switch. Like when you're around generators like me, it's like somebody turned on a light switch and you can activate. Like you're
Right.
being activated by others, because I think energy vampires are different. I spend a lot of time with you, Heather, most weeks, and I never feel like sucked dry, where there's other people in my life that I've had to learn to and continue to learn to put new boundaries on things, because I feel so drained. And something else that came up during my human design session that I had with my friend is how I'm so sensitive to electromagnetic, whatever the frequencies. Words sometimes. That's another thing. I'll just be 100% open and honest. There's things that I am very genius about, and I don't say that to boast or be boastful, but like there's very intricate, complex things that I can explain to you very simply. And when it comes out of my mouth, this has a lot to do with the channel, but I just understand very complex patterns and I can spit them out with beautiful simplicity. And then there is basic math and spelling that I am just so basic on, below average, which is hilarious. Maybe that, keeps me humble, but I am very bad at basic math. Anyway, there's other people that I have felt like just suck me completely dry, and I can't, like, I'm like, oh man, I need a nap because I can't recover because they have been a vampire to my energy, which you are not. I think it's more of like an activation thing. So yes, but yeah.
Yeah. I think that, the point that we're trying to drive home here with this episode today is that, the intention in creating this channel and creating this space and creating this community was to allow you to get to know us on a real level, allow us to have, honest and open conversations. We talk about having conversations about everyday life topics. And so, as we looked back over, the last 2 years of our content, we realized that we did some teaching in there. We've had a lot of really interesting conversations. We've gone full on spiritual. We've gone full on dark other side areas, but the reality is that, things are happening to us every single day. And we are getting information, social media, the news, our friends, our family members, like all this stuff is coming in. And it's as the earth transitions so massively. And I mean, there are massive changes coming up. I mean, you follow any astrologer right now, and they are all like crazy about it, right?
Right. Yes.
So, as this stuff is happening, like we really want to connect with you on what do you want to know? What do you want to talk about? Tell us, put it in the comments, send us an email, smoke signal us, just let us know what you want to talk about, because we're all about it. Like, and we have opinions and commentary, and our guides and spiritual beings, they have all of their information too. So we would love to shed light anywhere you need it. Just tell us where it is.
Yeah. And just a reminder too, that we're on this ascension journey too. Just because we showed up and you see the front facing here, beautified. Now, Heather didn't brush her hair for the last 4 days. If you look closely, you can tell that not all of my hair is curled perfectly because, I just got out of the shower last night and let it air dry, and you only see the front. So it's business in the front, party in the back. literally. For me, I'm actually wearing pajama pants right now because it's comfortable, and this is Zoom and you can't see them anyway, but I just outed myself. That's okay. But I can only speak for me, and I know that this is true for Heather too, though. I am, and she is real people, and we go through real things. There is this behind the scenes conversation of like, are we doing this right? Is this like, are we missing something? Are we actually, what are we doing here? We go through our own struggles, and as best friends, we actually lean on each other quite heavily. Please hold the bucket for me. We've learned to work with one another, and we're willing to share that entire experience and everything that we're going through as humans, and our ascension journey. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm excited to share more of, what we've been thinking. Cause again, I'm always questioning everything from like what's in our food to what's in our clothes. That came up today. To, is this world a simulation? All of the things, my mind is going 24/7. So if there's questions that you have, that's why we created this channel, as Heather said. We'll be back next week. We are going to be live. We're going to give you a chance to join us in the Zoom room so that you can be in our energy, in our channel, asking any questions. It's kind of going to be like a live channeling session that you can be a part of, that we're inviting you to celebrate our 100th episode, our 2-year anniversary. So if you're not on one of our email lists, drop a comment in this video so that we can get you on the email list, so we can get you the Zoom link. It will be live at 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central, and you can figure out all the other times because I obviously have a problem with that. But yeah, if you want to join us, if you want to, choose a topic about anything, if you want to ask us like, any personal questions about things that we're going through, whether it's, family, creating a family, marriage, sex, I don't know, that one just came up, money, whatever it may be, all cards on the table. We are having a real conversation with you. As always, that is our intention. So again, if you're not on our email list, make sure that you comment here on this video saying, I want in on the live episode. I want to be a part of it. And we will send you the links for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and hit that reminder bell so that you never miss an episode. Thanks so much for watching today. We love you. We appreciate you watching until the very end. And we hope that, you're having a wonderful day, and that we have brought some light to the journey that you're on to, and a reminder that you're never alone. We're here with you in the trenches. See you next week.